Hey folks, Ned Canty here at Opera Memphis, coming to you just after the end of day 10 of rehearsal for La Boheme. We spent pretty much all day in Act 4, and an odd thing happened, which hasn't happened to me before during a music rehearsal, at least. Uh, in Act 4, I started getting choked up, and I actually teared up several times, and that's never happened to me before. I sometimes during shows that might happen, even shows that I've worked on, but most people I've worked with will tell you, A, that I'm just, a heartless SOB to begin with, but especially when I'm directing, my focus usually is a little more mercenary. I'm really trying to think about how something will look, how to light something, how to get the best effect out of a moment. And I think the reason it hit me so much has a lot to do with this cast and the process that we've been going through. I think I've been saying that, especially with Ari Pelto as the conductor, we've done a lot of peeling away of just years and years of indulgence and kind of big, messy, sloppy Italian sound that can be very satisfying, but actually doesn't pay off. As like the old saw about Chinese food. You're hungry again an hour later, and I feel like in a way, all the emotion in some productions, certainly some recordings that I have, the emotion is all squandered on milking high notes, and by the time you get to the end, there isn't. There isn't any feeling left for you. I had an acting teacher who always said, you can't cry on stage. Because you need to leave room for others to cry on your behalf. And that, as audience today, that's I think exactly what happened to me. I do want to warn you. I'm going to be talking about the final act. If you don't know the ending of La Boheme, I want you to turn this off right now. I promise you, you'll have a much greater reward going in, seeing it fresh for the first time. This is really just for people who have seen it before. Okay. And everybody who's still watching, I'm going to trust you and assume that you know the show. So I thought it would be fun to take a little tour of where are the moments where Ned cried like a little girl. So number one, just Mimi Rodolfo, the first moment they meet again, and just Rodolfo's mia Mimi, sempre, sempre, just again, part of it is the music, which is just, goes straight to whatever button in your spine, makes tears come to your eyes. It certainly happened with me today. Next, the Buongiorno Marcello, Giornate Colline, when she sort of sees them all around her, and just that feeling of this tribe, this idea that, there's the families we're born into and the families that we create for ourselves, and that this family that they've all created for themselves is just so powerful, and that the one place she would want to be at this moment in her life is surrounded by them, and she gets that. Okay, that was number two. Number three, immediately after, when she says to Marcello, sai buona musetta, your musetta is good, buona. Such a simple word, and yet it's just not a word that anyone's ever used to describe musetta, not the musetta that we see in Act 2. And I was sort of saying that there's something in that moment, that in the simplicity of it, in the circumstances of it, that it's like it cuts through layers and layers of history and baggage and BS between Marcello and Musetta, and it kind of allows them to see each other for the first time. So that's number three. Oh man, that one got me. Especially Marcello's Lo so, I know it. So that's three so far. Let's see. Number four, when Musetta decides to go with Marcello, and she's going to get the muff that Mimi has said she wanted, and Marcello has a moment where he says to her, sei buona mia Musetta, you are good. And again, it's like the look that he gives her, that moment is the moment that she's wanted her entire life, and sort of wanted from him, but didn't know how to ask for it, didn't even know that she wanted it. Man, totally gone. I don't even remember if that's 4 or 5 now. Uh, Colline's, I'm always a sucker for Colline's coda aria. There's just something about him trying to work through what's going on that always gets me. So that's 5 and or 6. I've lost track. The all of the moments where they're sort of reliving their date, and it isn't the specifics so much as the idea that as they re-narrate it, it's funny. I remember some person who didn't like the piece saying at once, that the problem with the piece is it's just all the same tunes. They're recycling it. They're bringing it all back. Blah blah blah. And what I love about this moment is that this is the way the couples talk about how they met all the time. I mean, it's what they call in romantic comedies. They call it the meet cute. How did you first meet? My wife and I do this, and if we're together telling the story, we disagree and correct each other, and we have our sort of shtick. That's how it goes, and they're back in their shtick talking about looking for the key, and but the twist in it is that she finally does admit to him that she knew all along that he found the key right away, and there's something, I don't know, again, there's a simplicity to it that goes right to the heart. So 6 and or 7. I was a mess. It's a good thing that stage management keeps tissues on the table. They come back in. Musetta's prayer always gets me. There's something so simple about it. Seeing Mazetta praying, I think it's almost as if she's embarrassed to have people see her praying because it's so against her type. Oh my God. This was really the last one. At this point, I was just a mess. Musetta comes back in. She's got the muff. This is actually before the prayer. She's got the muff. She gives it to Mimi. Mimi is so taken with it. She's feeling it. It's exactly what she needed. And she says to Rodolfo, "Did you get this for me?" And it didn't. Of course, it was Musetta. And before Rodolfo can say anything, Musetta just jumps in with a C and gives him the credit. And it's the most generous, amazing thing that she could possibly do at that moment. Like it really just shows that the person she is underneath Musetta really is good. I mean, it is that simple. Buona is the perfect word for it because she gets described in so many metaphors. When Monticello first describes her, I mean, it's all metaphors and this flowery language. Everybody knows who they think she is. And seeing who she actually is underneath or wants to be or wants to become, oh my God, it's just fantastic. By that point in the sing-through, we actually stopped before the big Mimi. It's funny because it's a moment that you never want to take for granted. You don't want to rub it raw. So we actually only heard those words once tonight when we did a run-through of the whole scene. And I'm spent from it. And again, it's sort of pleasing to know that I'm not like the Tin Man, and I do have a heart. But to know that the piece can still be so powerful, to know that even though I know what's coming, that it isn't about where we get to, it isn't about the ending, it's about a million little moments. Just all these tiny things that add up to this intensely human group of people that we see. This is probably going to be the longest one that I've done, which wasn't intentional, but man, it was a great day with just such an amazing cast. So a very good day. Thanks. If you like these, share them with folks. Feel free to point out that General Director Ned Canty gives a graph of how many times he cried during Act 4 of Boheme. Not even in performance, in the sing-through, so lame. But hey, what are you going to do? Have a good day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.